Usually it's just so.
Cool. Just curious.
What?
No big deal. I just curious. Yeah, just wondered.
I feel like most other people don't really watch them, so I just post them. I post them there for reference, and then always in our thread. So, I'm gonna start with wins, and then I have some questions I wrote down just from everybody's check-ins, and a few things that I think would be helpful for most people to go over. So, we'll start with Michelle because I'm just gonna go from the top, from who I see. So, what was your win?
Well, I had some not wins because I didn't track and I didn't count, but
Vacation win. You got to get away with your boyfriend win.
yeah.
Those are what we want to hear.
Okay. Well, I want to say the first couple days of vacation, I was very conscious of what I was putting in my mouth. I even though I didn't count and I didn't track macros, I was making sure I ordered things that were high protein at least. So I ate a lot of fresh fish and a lot of chicken, and really tried to, well, at least the first couple days, watch my sugary drink intake. So I feel like if I weren't in the program, I definitely wouldn't have been paying attention as much to those things.
Yeah. And that's a win because vacation might have looked totally different. I feel like a lot of the times, like me pre this too, it's like I'm so good up until like the day I go, and then like the rules, go out the window the minute you hit.
Right. It's like a complete free for all, and it wasn't a complete free for all.
All like gross and like all the things that we don't want to feel coming off vacation. So I think it's a huge win, especially because it's. I mean, you're only a few weeks into the program. Just like the small mindful pieces are really that's a big win. So and taking that in and just kind of having a plan, whether you stick to it or you decide like, oh, I'm just gonna like thoroughly enjoy it and not like truly think about it. And you said to me in your check-in, like, I'm just gonna come back out, which is all you can do, and that's great. And that's a great mindset to have, is like, let's just stay on it and move forward. So that's an awesome win. And it looked like a lot of fun. I enjoyed seeing your pictures. So
it was great.
Hillary, what about you?
Well, I feel like I have to first preface this with a little bit. I feel like whenever you start something new, especially when it revolves around improving your nutrition and your health, people are really judgy, and that includes my sister. And so I tend to kind of keep my what I'm doing for my own health to myself, because she's always judgy about, oh, well, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. My siblings have always been the very thin ones, and I've always been the one who struggled with my weight. And so I always find this, and maybe it's in my head, maybe it's real, but I find a lot of judgment from people when I embark on some next thing. Oh, Hillary's trying the next thing again. She did keto, she did paleo, she did, intermittent fasting. I do everything and nothing ever works. And so I find a lot of judgment from people when I start something new. And so for me, my win was admitting to my sister what I'm doing and having her judgment come at me. And I was just like, nope, I'm not going to accept that. I'm going to put this in its place, and not in a mean way, but this is what I'm doing. And I'm excited to embark on this new method. And so it was big for me.
That's awesome. And I wrote that down specifically to talk on later, just because you wouldn't think this is a thing, not only just from like family, but it's truly, I think people find discomfort, and it might be deflection or whatever that looks like, to see somebody trying to work on themselves. And I think as you grow and watch some of these videos, and kind of gain the confidence to be like, look, I'm doing like things that serve my body. And I think people will see it along the way. It's a trickle effect of like, when they see I'll reference what Angie says, your glow up, or like you're leveling up, then people are super interested. What is she doing? And there might be judgment in the beginning, because it might be something they struggle with, whether they're thin or not on their own. That's their own thing. But to be able to like take that, and like you said, and just be like, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing it to better my health, and not like a mean bitchy way,
Mhm.
but just to be like, I stand firm in like what you're doing and why you're doing it, because it's amazing. Like, and it takes dedication. It takes work. So I'm happy that you were able to like speak that and like own it. And I think it gets easier. But we can talk a little bit about that later. So, Elisa, what about you?
Well, I was having a hard time getting like my steps in and my water and all that. And so I really focused on that. And I'm doing so much better, and I feel so much better. So I feel like that's a great win.
Mhm.
Um, and then also, just not being so like, overly rigid in my head about eating, and you know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
stressing about that stuff, and just trying to make sure I plug in my yummy food
Yeah.
and all that. So
Well, and I think this process, obviously it takes time, and allowing yourself some grace is huge. I feel like a lot of
yeah,
the times, we go to these negative emotions and feelings about the things that we do, and in the grand scheme and big picture of life, and like it's not that big of a deal. And
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's a big
yeah,
deal. Like, if it's important to us, for sure. But like, in the blip of time, it in however long we're on this earth, like for me, because for me, this is like, people are like, how's your diet going? I'm like, this is my lifestyle. This is not a diet. So
right,
one error, or like, and not even error, that's like the wrong, but like one change of mind frame of like, oh, I'm gonna enjoy this, like, is not truly gonna affect the progress in the long haul. Do you know what I
right,
mean?
right,
I'm not speaking that outright, but and I think when it comes, it's a lot, tracking your steps, tracking your food, tracking your water. If you can like hyper focus on one thing,
hmm,
and be like, if I can get my steps in, great. If I can get my water, like, obviously we want to have these like micro goals, but like, I think sometimes it's easier if anybody is ever feeling overwhelmed with like all the things, is to be like, you know what, this week I'm focusing on hitting my macros, or this week I'm gonna really focus on hitting my steps. Obviously food is going to be there, like, let's not try and go over, but like, if the macros aren't there 100%, but you're like at or under your calories, awesome. Like, I know that stuff can be tricky, but like, there was some, like, last week, and I told to my coach, I'm like, my steps in the last 2 weeks are really suffering, but like, I have to choose to like let that be, because sometimes at night we've just been so busy that I'm tired. I don't want to get out at like 8 o'clock and go for a walk, or my night doesn't allow it. And the kids are home with me, and that's kind of another reason, like, I want them to go back to school, because I'm like, I know once they're gone, I can get my work done without being interrupted, and I can get on my walk and actually like listen to like a mindset. I feel like I'm behind on my videos, just like, anybody else. And while I love the quality time, like, a lot of the times my neighbor will come with me, or my daughter will come walk with me. And that's like, obviously I want to enjoy their time and company, but some days I'm like, I just want to listen to a video. So don't be discouraged if you can't fit it all in. We are not perfect. We are all human. And just like, be like, you know what? I got my food tracked for today, and I have it logged. That's a win. Things will ebb and flow. And there are some weeks where I'm like, I am crushing everything. And then there are some weeks where I'm like, this is just going to have to take a back seat, because other things are important, more important. So my win for the week, 1 second. You're supposed to be in your room. No, and I'm on a call. So is I was able to get away this past weekend for a girlfriend's trip that we do every year, and we just like had such an amazing time. I usually fall in line as the chef every year, so it's just like my natural. I enjoy doing it. I love to cook for everybody. So, and I don't know if anybody saw pictures, but it's like 9 girls are also like in the program. So it was just cool to like, for once, like, sit back and like hear some of my best friends, like the their self-talk, and just the things that were coming out of their mouths, minus even like the cooking and the eating. And yeah, we were all weighing, and the 3 poor girls that weren't there were like, this is the most chill. We weren't really drinking or anything like that. Like, this is the most chill like trip ever. But just like to see the difference and like how they speak about themselves. I think for me, that was the coolest part. And like, the biggest win is that shift. We all come here, yes, to lose weight and to feel better about ourselves, but that seeing that mental shift in how they perceive themselves and like where they're going to go from here is probably one of the coolest things. So we had a great time, and it's always perfect, hanging with girls that know you best. So that was my one. And Katie, who's usually on here, she was there too. So okay, well, let's get at it. I'm going to just start with like the questions I had written down, and then if we have anything along the way, just pop in. One of the few, I shouldn't say the few things. So it got brought up a couple times, and then just throughout the week was planning ahead when going out. And this could look like a mini weekend away, a vacation, just a night out for dinner. And like I can speak on our weekend away. Granted, this was a little easier because we had other people. We were kind of all on the same page. We made a list of like what we were going to eat. It's always helpful, obviously, if you're traveling and you have a kitchen. That way you can just grocery shop and kind of do your best. And even like the tracking, I know it's hard, but like even when you go out to dinner, or if you have a weekend where there's just like a lot of things to do, if you can try and log as best as you can, it will be super helpful. Because I know a lot of the times people are like, well, I don't want to do it, so I'm just not going to do it. Or like, I ate too much, so I don't want to see it. But I think the more you see it and the more you end up logging it, the easier logging gets, even if it looks messy and you're like, dang. Like I ate the heck out of the chips and guac or whatever that looks like it happens. But I think it's easier to like see it and have the data than to not. So, and I'll go, and if I will just guesstimate. I will do my best on ounces. I will do my best on finding something. I will always add oil. So I'll add a tablespoon of oil if I know I'm going out to dinner or something like that, because I know obviously they're going to be cooking with different things, and there's probably going to be more fat, whether that's butter or oil, what it's being cooked in. Dinner wise, you guys, and I think this, I will preface with saying, because somebody else said something about accountability. This thread is what that is about. It's about accountability, and I think it's about not being shy about posting any and all the questions you have, because if you have that question, I guarantee you somebody else here is thinking it and has that question too. So it'll be helpful, and then I can answer it to everybody instead of like side messages. Because like if you're going out to dinner and say, hey, I have zero idea. Like, I know I want to have a cocktail or two, but hey, take a look at the menu. And I did that for somebody. And I do it. I ask my coach, in the beginning all the time, I'm a little nervous. Like, I don't want to like totally blow my progress, but I want to be able to have a good time. Like, can you take a peek at the menu and tell me like what my best like macro friendly options are? And it's super cool. And you know what? Like, there are nights where it's like I've done that, and I because I went on a girls trip very early on, and when I started, and I had two or three. I had probably two more glasses of wine than I had allotted for. And it was what it was. I logged it, but like I kept my meal very macro friendly, and it just helps to go in with a plan, because I think you end up being a little bit more mindful. And then if you make that decision to do other things, you make that decision to do other things. We're all adults here. And like, if you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying your time there, it's going to like enhance the experience. Great. So I think it's super important to plan ahead. And again, if that means packing snacks, if you don't know what's going to be there, like if you're going to a party at somebody else's house, or again, a weekend away, I do my best to pack all the things that I would normally snack on a daily basis. Chopsticks, protein bars, I'll pack a shake, I'll pack like smart popcorn, like little bags of popcorn that I can easily grab. That if I'm in a point where I haven't eaten and I'm starving because we're going out to eat and that looks later than what like my day normally looks at, like I have good things on hand. Again, if there's a fridge, protein shakes, yogurt, egg, whatever, like hard-boiled, whatever that looks like for you, to keep you on track. I like to pack. I always have snacks on me because I'm always hungry. So you just never know. If you're going to a party, ask the hostess or whatever, hey, what can I bring? Or this is what I'm bringing, because at least if you make it, you can eat it, as opposed to going into it and like, I've done it both ways, where I go to that, I'm like, oh, I think they probably have some like good choices. And then I get there and it's like, you know, a food truck that has like literally nothing. And I'm like, dang it. And you have to eat what you eat there. But I like to come a little prepared, whether that's a protein, like I bring like, hey, I'm going to bring some stuff to throw on the grill, or I'm going to bring a plate of veggies or whatever that looks like. I just offer it. I say, hey, this is what I'm bringing. Which again, I think it makes it super helpful. So whatever that looks like on a weekend away, a vacation away, or just like a night out to dinner, planning ahead is super, super helpful. So does anybody have any questions on that? No? Okay. Because that was one thing. So I wanted to talk about calorie and macro drops, and I kind of spoke on it in the thread because somebody was like, oh my gosh, I'm really nervous about like lowering my calories. Actually, a few people have said that. I will not lower your calories if you are trending down. Obviously we want to keep you at your like the highest amount of calories as possible while losing weight. I don't ever want anybody to feel super deprived or super hungry. So as long as you're hitting those macro goals, like in your calorie goals pretty like on point, we generally don't drop calories. I mean, obviously if you're like, hey, if you're in and around and you're like, hey, I want to give it a try, like obviously I will listen to you guys as well. But just know like each week I'm not dropping your calories, especially if you're trending down. And by down, like half a pound to a pound a week. So does anybody have questions on that?
That was gonna be my question. Yeah. And like, so I watch my weight, you know, it's doing this, it's going down, but it's up and down and up and down. So you're looking at, I'm guessing, the average at the end of each week.
Yes.
Okay.
And that is that's super key. And I know it's so hard on a daily basis when we're weighing ourselves, but like you kind of have to take those trends as like, you know, because I look at the average of the week, because this will always happen. We're women, we get our cycle. Like, I mean, it's so dependent like on water weight and like what we ate the night before. Like, you know, I feel like we're just so sensitive. I'm trying to get my husband to weigh every day because I am super interested to see if men are like, if they fluctuate like we do. I don't think, I honestly probably don't think they will, but I'm going to make them start doing that. But yes, we'll take that weekly average, and healthy weight loss is a half a pound to a pound a week. So that's kind of what we base it off of. And again, if you're like Hillary, if you like message me, I was like, you know what, I think I'm ready to drop my calories, and you've been hitting them really close. You're seeing like little drops here and there. I'm all for it, because obviously if you want to get this process going a little bit quicker, sure. Are you going to be hungry? Probably, because we're going to get you in a little bit more of a calorie deficit. I'm not like taking you to 1100 calories. Like nobody wants to be there, but like we can fudge them a little bit, where if you're like, something's coming up and I really want to like, you know, accelerate this, we can do that as well. We don't love to do that. But we can. But I just wanted to like, I don't want anybody to be frightened and be like, oh my gosh, she's going to drop me every week and I'm going to be like at, you know, 1,000 calories, because we would all be hungry and that wouldn't be fun. So any questions?
Yeah, that's
no. Okay, I want to talk about judgment. And I will tell you my story, Hillary, because I got it from my husband, and I love my husband. He is super supportive, and I don't even sometimes think he knows like the things that come out of his mouth are like negative. But I remember when I first started, and I got this from a lot of people, you're going to weigh your food? Like, that's weird. Like my husband said that to me. He's like, that's weird. And then when he was like, when I finally got like my voice to be like, you know what? I like don't love alcohol. Like I don't like the way it makes me feel. Like sure, or if I'm going to drink it, I'm going to drink something like I really like an old fashioned or like a fruity martini, and not worry about the calories, because I'm probably going to only have one, because I know what alcohol makes me feel like. It opens the floodgates for me to eat, and then I feel like crap the next day, and I don't parent well. I am not fun to be around, and then I want to eat greasy crap the next day. So I just know, like for me, it didn't serve me. Well, my husband loves to drink. So when he's like, you're not going to drink. And I'm like, probably not a lot. And he's like, you're no fun. You're going to be no fun. And I was like, oh, from like coming from my husband, like, so I've gotten these things here and there. And like in the beginning, I was super self-conscious, especially with the drinking end, about being at a party. Just because I grew up binge drinking. I will be the first to say it. I did it in high school. Like I've done it as an adult. It's like, I would get to Friday and like I celebrated making it through the week. And it just meant having a couple glasses. I'm a lightweight, so it's like I can have a couple and I feel like crap. So that was hard because people are like, I'm a little past, people know I'm not having any more kids. So they're not like, are you pregnant? It's more like, why? And at first I didn't really feel like explaining it. And now I'm comfortable being like, because it doesn't serve me. And you know how many people are like, you know what? Like, I kind of feel the same way. So, and that's like the drinking end. I feel like people, more people don't drink or do drink than not. So, but like getting the judgment on, are you going to weigh your food forever? Are you going to track it forever? And I am comfortable saying now, like, yeah, 100%, like it's super easy. And it gives me control. It gives me freedom to fill in the rest of my day with things I truly enjoy. And it's super easy to do. Obviously I'm not doing it when I'm out, but like my scale is on, on my counter. I was in my dresser. That would be weird. And it's just super easy to pop a bowl on there, weigh my stuff. And I know, because that gives me structure. And what do we always say? Structure equals freedom. That allows me to have my Yasso bar or like, my handful of chocolate a night or whatever that looks like for me. And it's funny. I know my husband lives with me, but like he's come around. He's like, should I start weighing my food? Because they see the transformation. And many people that have placed judgment down the line have ended up joining the program. And until they can see it for themselves, they don't get it. And I am just confident enough now because of like the space I'm at with like being able to own things that don't serve me, whether that's people, places, whatever that looks like. I have zero problem because it's a them problem, not a you problem. And like, I don't mean to sound like bitchy about it, but like that is deflection. Whatever that looks like. And you just gotta let it roll off your shoulders because you know that why you're doing it. And that is all that matters. And I know it's easier said than done, especially when it's your family, but there will always be some form of like judgment. But like I said, I am super comfortable and I hope you get to the point that you're like, you know what, this serves my body, like, and it serves the goals I have for my body. So I'm going to do it because it works. So I hope that's helpful because most people, you wouldn't think that you would see a lot of judgment because people are like, oh, that's amazing. Like, I'm so like good for you for like wanting to like better your health and your life. But like, it doesn't happen like all the time. Especially what I love is being in this supportive group. In the end, the community is like there's so much support here because people just want to see, like, I know what it's done for me and I want that for you. So like, I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader because I know you can do it and I know it works. And just like growing that confidence to be like, doesn't serve me. You might not serve me. Like it's like coming to, I'm not saying your sister, but like really being able to have relationships in your life and setting boundaries because they don't serve you, or a boundary with food, a certain food, or with meat, with alcohol, because I don't care for it that much. I don't need to do it all the time because like I got big goals for my body. And once you get really clear on what that is, I think it's very easy to just kind of, because it's not mean, you just kind of brush it off because what they have to say doesn't really affect you, So, but I'm sorry, like it stinks. You would think like, your sister would be like, oh, you got this, girl, but I'll tell you got this. So,
thank you. And no, that does help a lot actually, hearing that and hearing that you've experienced resistance as well. And it's funny, some people are critical from a place of like my sister, it comes from a place of love. She doesn't want to see me struggle anymore. She doesn't want to see me try something and fail because that's always what it's been. I've always tried and failed. And so she's watched me repeat this.
How she says it or the way it comes off. Like, that's my husband. Because I had to have a conversation with him because I was like, this is hurtful. And he was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm like, all you have to do is love me and support me. And like, and since then he was like, it might be worth being like, I know you love me, but like, how you say it hurts me. And I just want like, need you to be supportive and just like love me and like cheer me on, because like, I hope she sees a transformation in you and and can turn and look at you and be like, I'm so proud of you, you know?
Mhm. I hope so too. And it's interesting that on the other side, some people are judgy from the point of like, well, you're not going to eat these donuts with me anymore. You're not going to have these cookies. And like, I brought all these Oreos for you. And I'm like,
I got a
yeah.
couple people in my life that are like that with alcohol. And you know, I had to come to terms with the fact that like, I probably am not going to be invited to things, and I have to be okay with that, which is crazy because we're 40-year-old women, but like, I'm okay with that, you know, because again, like, if that's what's important, then
Yeah, if that's what your friendship was based on alcohol only, then nope, thank you, but no thank you. Yeah, I understand. So thank you.
It's interesting to navigate, and I think, let me look into it because I feel like Paul did a video on this resistance, and there might be a little bit of it in the call tomorrow morning at 7, because I think he's going to talk about a little resistance from like spouses and well, what did he call it? Hold on. But there is one, or maybe it's a Q&A that he spoke on resistance a couple weeks ago. Because somebody had that question, like, what do you do like when there's judgment or resistance from people like around you? But he did say what the call is. Excuse me, it's gonna be. And it kind of ties into that because we talked about it the other day on our call. Just like somebody had asked the question, like getting their husband on the same page with like eating habits, or like a co-parent, like if there's, you know, divorce or whatever that looks like, and trying to, you know, get somebody on the same page. I'll have to look for it. I could put it in our thread, but tomorrow morning's call will be at 7 o'clock, and obviously it'll be on the Facebook page if you guys can get to it later. And somebody else was asking about like snack ideas. So I didn't know if everybody wanted to share like what their go-to are. I mean, I have a ton of them. It changes all the time. I love snacks. Snacks are my favorite. And like I said, I usually have like the Chomps turkey sticks or the jalapeno sticks like in my purse. Or, you know, I'm a big fan of like bars if they fit in my calories, but apples, and I do a lot of the peanut butter powder because right now I can't have a ton of peanut butter, which is sad. But do you guys have any snacks, like go-to snacks, specifically maybe with protein? Because I know somebody else is saying that they're having a hard time hitting their protein.
I like that Oikos, that protein, that 15 or whatever gram. That's
what I just had
so
in my
good.
yogurt. Talk
Yeah.
about a good snack. Okay. So
Mhm.
I do that because I like the strawberry cheesecake one a lot.
Oh yeah.
But I like all the flavors. And then I will do the Catalina Crunch, which is a keto cereal, but it has protein in it also. And I'll do a quarter cup of that. So it's a half of a serving. And today I did the chocolate one. I don't necessarily like the chocolate one on its own. The cinnamon one I can eat like just dry, and it's delicious. My husband's like, "Oh, you're eating your gravel," because it's really loud. And then I get the Lily's chocolate chips, so the white chocolate chips, and I put those in here, and I just do like a tablespoon. I think it's like 30 calories, maybe less. And I usually put fresh strawberries too, but I have not been to the store this week, so it's just. And I think it was with the Catalina Crunch, the yogurt, and the Lily's chips, I think it was 140 calories.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's often like if I don't want like dessert, that is like my sweet treat, and it's delicious. And it's got, I think, almost 20 grams of protein because of the yogurt, and then the half, because I think a full serving of the Catalina Crunch is 10 grams of protein. So that is a really good snack. And again, I can beef it up if I have more calories, but
I bought those Pop-Tarts. They are so sweet. They're like, oh my gosh, sweet.
Oh, somebody else posted, and do they come 2 in a pack?
It's one.
So somebody's like, I had to eat half like now.
Yeah.
And who makes those again though?
It's Legend something.
Are they good though, or are they like too sweet?
And just don't smell it before. It definitely smells like protein.
Okay. So it's
And
a
then
little funky when it
yeah.
doesn't get over smell.
And it's, I'm telling you, so sweet.
Yeah. Okay. And sometimes like those are things that are like maybe good to take like to quarter it up and like put it on top of something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
or like on top of a protein blizzard or something like that. Protein blizzards are great. I don't know if anybody's tried them yet. So I do mine with just almond milk. I like the cookies and cream, and then I add egg whites. And it sounds gross, but it's really good. Makes it nice and like thick and frothy.
Mhm.
And then the xanthan. I never can say it. The xanthan gum. So it just makes it like instead of it making like icy, it makes it like creamy. And
Oh,
then I
yum.
crush it a little. I'll take like one of the dark chocolate Oreo thins and crush it on top, or the Kodiak protein like golden graham bears, but like the chocolate ones. I don't know if you guys have seen those. I crush those up on top or inside of it. It's delicious. But I feel like that's like it ends up being around like 220 calories. I'm in a cut. So like at the end of the night, that's usually what I like to have, but sometimes I don't have enough calories for it. So you were gonna say something, Hillary, about do you have a snack idea?
Well, yeah, I have a question and snack idea. So I always do like beef jerky or a lot of cottage cheese for my proteins.
That's okay. I was gonna mention that for extra protein, cottage cheese is great.
Yeah, because you can get the low fat stuff and still have like a huge amount of protein. It's crazy. What yogurt though did you just say? Was it Oikos or
So they
you
have
said a specific?
Oikos Light and Fit. I think it's 12 grams of protein, and then the Oikonos it's in a black tube. It's their actual protein one. I think it has 15 or more. Does it have more than that, Elisa?
So it's
The
actually a
canister, like the big can has like, or tub,
Oh,
whatever.
you get the
has-
big one. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
yes,
17.
that's what it looks like.
They have this one now, though. They have the Pro, which has a
Oh,
little more
cool.
protein in it than the other one.
Where'd you get that?
Target.
Okay.
Oh,
Huh.
cool.
Look,
Yeah.
I usually just get the light and fit because I like the flavors, but if I can get that much protein, I sneak that in my kids'
Mm.
smoothies too. So yeah. My daughter, who's supposed to be in her room, is sitting in here listening to me. I'm trying to think what else, but yes, I actually love it, and I made the girls try it this weekend. I'm like, it looks like dog food. I'm like, but I take my ground turkey and then I take roasted sweet potatoes and then I do a quarter cup or half a cup of cottage cheese and I mix it all together.
Ooh, yum.
Don't knock it until you try it because it's delicious, but it does kind of look a mess. But it's just nice for a little bit of extra, like I didn't have low fat, so it gave me a little bit extra fat because I'm always lower on my fat, but you can get the low fat one, and it still has the same amount of protein. So
I like to do that, the cottage cheese with like I'll chop up chicken or turkey and then rice and then put that Red's hot sauce on there, the mild, like the
Yes.
buffalo. It's so good.
So
My husband's
good.
like, that is disgusting.
I know it sounds weird, and like I feel like I started watching Angie, and she was like starting to add like a cup of cottage cheese to everything, and I was like, it's so good. Like I guess it's the one thing, like if you can add it with fruit, like my best friend, and the texture for me is a little weird, so she calls it a fruit delight. So it's and I would have to get the ratios from her because some people really love it, Melissa. It's half a cup of Greek yogurt, I think half a cup of cottage cheese, and the texture I think is what gets me. And then sometimes she will do, if her Greek yogurt has flavor, she'll leave it as is, and then she'll just like cut up some fruit and then like some shaved almonds. But if it's just regular Greek yogurt, she takes like a half a teaspoon of like sugar-free Jello mix and puts it in like key lime or whatever, and she eats that every morning, and it's got an insane amount of protein. But like I need more crunch to it, so I have to add like something very crunchy because otherwise I can't get over the texture. Because it's just like cottage cheese and like together, and it's like there's got to be something else. But it is very good, and like once you get used to it, it's not bad. But I would always add like the Catalina crunch to it or something that had like a lot more crunch because of the texture. So
Can you send a picture of that Catalina crunch to our group? Because I don't know what that is.
Give me the bag of stuff, the Catalina crunch on the counter. Can you go get it for me? Thank you.
I made that.
16. It's on the counter, babe, by the stove. I have the dark chocolate one, which again, like I said, it kind of tastes like cardboard. I was super excited about it when I saw it because I love anything chocolate. Like it's my jam. The cinnamon one is actually really, really, really good. Costco sometimes, yeah, Costco sometimes has it, the cinnamon one, and it's a nice, really big bag. I haven't checked because I really stocked up. I have like a ton of them in my like extra pantry. But this is
Okay.
Target has it though.
Okay.
Catalina Crunch. I would try the cinnamon one first. Like this wasn't bad in my yogurt, but I can't eat it straight up. And I usually like to because a full cup is at 110 calories and 14 carbs and 11 grams of protein. So it's a lower carb because it is keto. But it's really good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I did pizzas last night, so I got these little protein pizza tortillas. So I had to get it at health, like Woodman's out by me, which is this like massive grocery store, carries it, but otherwise they were kind of hard to find. But I think the tortilla in itself had like 18 grams of protein, which was nice.
Mm.
And that's just nice for a different meal idea. Like I love me some pizza. That is like
Me too.
I could never not eat. So I did that in the Rayo's pizza sauce and just like a little bit of low fat mozzarella and turkey pepperoni. And I feel like it was a pretty decent. Let me look last night. I feel like it's pretty decent when it comes to macros. It was a last minute change, so of course I went over my fat yesterday. But it was 35 grams of protein, 14 grams of fat, 34 grams of carbs, and okay, so it's Golden Home protein, and that's the crust. And I just tossed them in the freezer because I got like 2 packs of them because they're hard to find. I don't know if y'all like pizza. That's a great thing. And again, I always get turkey pepperoni. Obviously, you could throw veggies and stuff like that. Only thing is they are not very big. They're like this big, and I can eat a ton of pizza. So whenever I look at it, I'm like, wah wah. But another one of our coaches did it on the lavish bread, so I might try that next time. While you don't get a ton of protein there, which is fine, at least it allows you more pizza. Because I just have a thing like if I eat pizza, I am eating like half of a large more. So I have to set a little boundary there because I love some pizza. And then I realized that like, prior to this, I ate cheese every day. I ate it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like there was cheese in my eggs, there was cheese everywhere. So I was like, I don't have a dairy. Like no, dairy doesn't affect me. And then I like, obviously doing this for me, I eliminated a lot of it just because it wasn't worth the calories and the fat. And then so here and there I'll have it. And then one weekend I had pizza 2 nights in a row. And one was like out, like we were out at a party and I was like, screw it, I'm having the pizza. It was delicious. I was so bloated and so gassy. I was like, wow. So I just was like living bloated and gassy, and I didn't really realize. It's just interesting to see like what food does your body like after you haven't eaten it in a very long time or like when you eat it in smaller quantities. Any other snack ideas? No. Okay, that's really all I have written down. Do you guys have any other questions?
I have a question. On the reflection sheet, and it asks, did you adhere to your macros this week? And there's yes or no, but there's no in between. And I know there's no in between for a reason, but like, I'm thinking I haven't been feeling well the last couple of days, so I haven't been hitting. I've been trying, and I mostly aim for my macros, but I haven't really, I'm trying to eat. But like, if I don't hit my macros, does that mean I'm not adhering or I'm following it? I'm trying. Do I have to hit my macros in order to click yes? Because I feel like a failure when I reach every week and I check no.
Well, first of all, I have to change your woo-foo because this is wrong, which is why I put the link there. But I just want to see. Okay, so I'm going to say this because I like to see more than that too. I didn't really realize it was a yes or no. So if you want to, in your wins or whatever these larger sections are, when it comes to your macros, and I feel like Hillary, you're really good at giving me a lot of information. The more information you guys write down, no, but I feel like it's super helpful. So if you want to write in the where I can help you with or what are your wins in that section, and just be like, talk out your macros for me. Be like, I'm having a hard time hitting my protein. I'm having a hard time. I'm going over under fats or whatever that looks like. the more you can give me, the more I can help you, and we can find a game plan on how to like level those out to make this process easier and workable for you. Because in the grand scheme of everything, I mean, your macros, yes, they mean something, but staying at or below the calories is what's really important, because you want to be in a calorie deficit. So whatever those percentages, sometimes it's 40, 30, 30, like whatever those percentages look like, doesn't really matter as long as we can stay within those calorie ranges. They could be, I'm not good at math, so whatever it looks like. You can be higher in fat, lower in protein, lower in carbs. We don't really want that because of the calories. I feel like you're going to end up. The only thing with that, and I can attest to this, is when you overeat on your fat and undereat other places, your calories are not going to match up with like what you have left, because they are so uneven. That's why we like to have some kind of benchmarks. Like when I was in my reverse, I was getting to the end of the day and it said I had 300 and some calories left, but all my macros were gone. And I'm like, well, how is that possible? And how is this? But I still had some fat. I had a problem eating. I always ate too little. And my coach was like, you need to eat fat because they're so off, because I had like 30 grams of fat, but like negative in both of my carbs and my protein, that when I transferred it to my sheet, it didn't show I still had 300 calories left. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They were just really off. So we want to keep them, like we want to set them and keep a benchmark close. So if I need to rework those for you and like to get you to adhere to those better while still staying in that calorie range, we can absolutely do that. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So in one of those spaces, whether it's your wins or like probably let's do it in the what can I help you with? Give me as much information as possible. And again, I feel like the more active and questions and stuff on the actual group thread, like for accountability, or like being like, hey, y'all, went to dinner last night, had 3 drinks, like more than likely, because I think people feel guilt and like shame about that, like more than likely somebody else is gonna be like, same, like let's do better today, or like not even better, but like let's do it differently today. So it's just like the camaraderie and the accountability, like use that platform. I mean, I know we're all busy, but like if you have questions, or if you're had a win that day or week or whatever that looks like, post it. Or if you're frustrated with something, post it, and like let's like see how we can support you. But again, the more information you give me in your reflection form, the more I can answer on these calls and help you out with. Got it? I mean, that's really all I have for you. And I will get my link in there this week. I feel like I totally dropped the ball last week that way. And I feel like most everybody's came to me anyway. But I'll put that link in there actually when we're done, so I don't forget about it, because something enters my mind and then my kids talk to me and then it's gone. But yeah, that's all I have for you. And again, if you guys have any questions, post them on the thread. I will get this on the thread for those who weren't here. And I hope everybody has a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Elena.
Thank
you, ladies.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you.